Hello friends, this is Abhinav Bhargav.
And this is Indira Rao.
And in this video, we are going to see the difference between Bill of Rights versus
fundamental rights.
The Bill of Rights of the US Constitution includes the first 10 amendments of the US Constitution, which came into effect in 1791. The liberties and the freedoms of the Bill of Rights are based on the English Bill of Rights and also the Magna Carta of the 13th century.
Whereas the fundamental rights under Part 3 are largely inspired by the Bill of Rights, but also contain certain values of India's civilization and traditions which are unique to India, like for example, abolition of untouchability, rights that include the protective discrimination, and certain rights of women and children.
Bill of Rights lists out certain basic liberties and freedom of the people, like right to religion, speech, right to bear arms, peaceful assembly, life and liberty, and to due process. And many other rights are not mentioned in the Bill of Rights, but still can be claimed as the rights as clearly declared by the 9th and 10th Amendment of the US Constitution. And these rights can be claimed by the people directly or can be declared by the states of the USA.
Whereas the fundamental rights in India's constitutional scheme are exhaustively elaborated, and only these rights listed out under Part 3 enjoy the status of the fundamental rights. The Constitution of India does not resolve the rights to the people and does not allow the states of India to proclaim other rights as fundamental rights. The Supreme Court of India may, however, pronounce some rights as fundamental rights, but they should be flowing out of the rights elaborated under Part 3.
Bill of Rights are not absolute,
like fundamental rights under Part 3, which are also not absolute,
as both are subject to reasonable restrictions. For example, the US Congress can impose restrictions on Bill of Rights which can be held valid or invalid by the US Supreme Court. But the number of reasonable restrictions in the Bill of Rights are very few and are very broad.
Fundamental rights under Part 3, however, are subject to an elaborate number of reasonable restrictions which are also specific to different fundamental rights. In addition, Parliament can impose reasonable restrictions only by an Amendment Act but not by an ordinary law, as in case of the US. The Supreme Court can also impose the reasonable restrictions by interpreting the Constitution.
Bill of Rights recognizes the right to due process, which enormously increases the power of judiciary to guard and protect the fundamental rights in the US.
India's constitution does not explicitly recognize the fundamental right to due process, and hence the judiciary has to satisfy itself on the limited basis of whether the constitutional procedure has been followed in case of the breach of fundamental rights under Part 3.
Rights of the Bill of Rights cannot be suspended under any circumstances.
But rights under the Part 3 of India's constitution can be suspended during the operation of national emergency, except right under Article 20 and 21.
So this is the basic difference between Bill of Rights
and fundamental rights.
Do like,
share
and subscribe.
Thank you.